1, 2, pineapple.
Damn it, that's my line.
I know, but I stole it. Suck it. Anyway, we're a bunch of nerds talking about anime in a podcast because I don't know. I guess I don't really have anything else better to do in my life. But as you might have heard, we have a new voice again. He's taken up the corpse of the gaming centaur and is living in it. What's the creature from Star Wars? Smells worse than the outs. And fuck it, what was it?
The Tauntaun.
The Tauntaun. You're basically Luke Skywalker from Episode 5. How do you feel?
I don't think I want to reanimate his corpse.
Oh yeah, because
and I am a Norwegian sheep.
Yes.
Or a goat.
You like heavy metal.
He prefers centaurs. I prefer merfolk.
Okay.
Well, yeah, from your choice of anime girl.
And I prefer people who have arms and legs. Okay, that joke's killing me. How unfortunate. Turns out we need a new host. But anyway, this is the Anime Nerds Podcast. Welcome, Captain Face. He's an associate of the Gaming Centaur. So, I'm just basically, I don't know, I'm just inviting people. I had a joke prepared, then I realized it was bad, so I gave up on it. But, anyway. Oh, sorry, were you going to say something? I do that every time. I always interrupt people. I'm doing it again! No!
If you know, I must say, I was about to say, hey, crap, I just sounded redundant there. If I must say, I was going to mention that it's better than me. Sometimes I just go with the flow of things.
Oh, okay. That's fair. But anyway, as always, we have 3 questions, we have a discussion, and we have today's anime battle, which is Gundam Epyon from Gundam Wing versus Enki from Gurren Lagann. The 2 rival mechas from 2 prominent mecha series duking it out. Should be cool. I've wanted to use like a Gurren Lagann character for a Let's Fight for a bit, but I haven't been able to find one that's good. Because I want to do Yoko, but I couldn't think of any good matchup for her where she didn't either stomp or get stomped. Like, I was thinking, oh, there's other sniper characters. She stomps that character, stomps that character, stomps that character. Then I was like, the chick from Hellsing. Then I was like, that's kind of unfair. So, it's really hard, because it's either Yoko completely destroys her opponent, or it's a vampire. And then I was like, okay, we'll do Gurren Lagann. Then I was like, the only really good matchup I can think of is Megas XLR, and that might cause some controversy because people don't know, people up in arms of whether that's an anime, so this one works. Fuck it.
I didn't know that was even an argument about that series.
What, Megas XLR versus Gurren Lagann?
No, about it.
About Megas being an anime. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, some people think that if it's Western, it's not an anime, so. But those people are stupid.
I would say it's more along the lines of the art style.
Yeah. But we already did it. We already did a question about this, so. I mean.
Well, I was going to say, don't mention Avatar because that makes it worse.
Oh, yeah, that's true. But to be fair, you already did, so you just made it worse.
Not intentionally.
Nah, that's fair. But, speaking of controversy, we are going to our first question, which is about Goblin Slayer. I don't know if it's still relevant for the point this episode's going up, but right now as recording it, it's pretty relevant because everyone is really pissed off, at least AnyTubers are really pissed off about Goblin Slayer, saying it's too ecchi with a gratuitous rape scene. What are your thoughts?
Wait, gratuitous?
I don't know. Apparently there is a rape scene, and it's borderline along the one from Berserk. Except for the fact that in Berserk, there was like, a ton of episodes dedicating to like building up the characters, and then this one, it just starts the first episode off like I think near the end, it's just a rape scene. I was gonna compare it to like Overlord, cause not in terms of like there's a rape scene, in the terms of like there's characters introduced only for something terrible to happen to them. You know what I mean? Like in season 1, remember like the adventurer guild that Ainz goes with, and then they end up getting like super deadified.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking kind of like that, but what I've heard is in the either the manga or the light novel for Goblin Slayer, like the characters who get killed in episode 1 are developed and have like backstories, and then they get killed, so it has more of an impact. But in this one, they just kind of die.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's. I feel like that's kind of developing into its own trope.
Like they did actually not cut him off.
what?
Because it didn't die off.
Wait,
That's all.
did you see the episode? Because I haven't seen it because I've just been going off of
Most
what
of
I've
it.
heard.
I've seen most of the episode.
Okay. I thought they did kill him off. I thought that was what it. Well, at least there was like 3 characters that were supposed to die, wasn't it?
Actually, no, I think there was actually 1 or 2, but
Yeah.
it. Because I remember a few survivors.
Well, obviously there's gonna be more than just the main character. Because like the poster has like a mage girl on the front, and then like I can't tell if it's a guy or girl, but some like ninja character off to the side, and I'm like, okay, these 2 are important.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I know. What you mean.
So like obviously like okay, these 2 are gonna be his guildmates or whatever, and then other characters, I don't know. But I wanted to talk about this because like
You got traumatic experience.
there's a lot of dark stuff in certain anime, and I want to know when you think it goes too far contextually and when it doesn't. Because for some people, this is going too far.
If you ask me, I think rape can be an interesting issue to bring up in some of these. I mean, in an anime series, the problem is presentation of such. I mean, don't get me wrong; it's still a sensitive issue. I mean, I don't mean to get into politics, but I was about to say, look at politics recently about the whole Supreme Court.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to go that direction. But like you mentioned Berserk. I think that's actually a good way to present it because it gives the character motivation for his whole need for revenge.
And it also started the meme of Griffith did nothing wrong. Even though he did so many things wrong.
I was going to say, if anyone watches that episode, you'll know he did everything wrong.
Yeah.
I have not seen that series, actually.
Oh, well, all you need to know is basically there's this guy called Griffith who brings in a guy named Guts who's had a shitty life up to that point and was like, all right, we're going to make you have a family. And then Griffith eventually gets, like, an offer from, I think, Hal it was, and then he has all his friends killed and his love interest raped.
Oh yeah, in front of his eye, which like, one of them was
and one of his
out.
eyes got jabbed out. No, his arm got cut off.
He had to cut off the arm with a blunt sword.
Yeah.
And
he lost one of his eyes, and he watched his love interest get raped in front of him.
Yep.
In the pool of his friend's own blood.
Yep. That's pretty fucking dark. So.
That's it. Yeah, that's extremely dark. And this is coming from a guy who likes the Elfen Lied series.
Yeah, I was actually about to bring that up.
Actually, I was going to talk about that too, because like I remember I was watching Elfen Lied, and like the presentation of it, I understand why people like it, but the presentation of it turned me off. Because one of the things is, it kind of had an effect. Did you see episode 8 of Overlord season 3 yet?
Me?
I have not.
Okay, well, just know it has it proves that Ainz is not exactly a good guy. But it kind of like the first episode of Elfen Lied had that point like with the secretary, and it's like, oh, she's cute. I wonder what's gonna happen. And I'm like, holy shit! and this is also when I was new to anime. So it was like a big like, oh my god, what the fuck?
To be fair, if you read the manga as well, the same thing still happens.
I know.
You're right, it's more of a presentation issue. I'm one of those people who doesn't care whether the anime is better than the manga or if the manga is better than that. I just go with what I like, and in this instance, I will say the manga does a lot more justice.
I've heard that too.
In fact, I know this is going to be controversial to some, but when I saw the death battle between Carnage and Lucy, I was hoping they would bring up the manga, because I'm like, if they bring up the manga, there's no way the battle would be in her favor.
Actually, I think they used evidence from the manga to justify her winning that.
I got that wrong. Fuck. What I meant to say is, if they used the manga, she was going to win.
Yeah, she did. They did use them. That was their primary source of information, actually. Since
Yeah.
they said it was closer to the original source material. So, yeah, but dark stuff happens a lot in anime, and usually it's presentation-wise on whether it's in a good way or a bad way. And from what I've heard, Goblin Slayer doesn't exactly do it the best. I don't know if it's a good anime or not. It has a good rating so far on my anime list. It's got like an 8.7, or no, 8.07, which is pretty damn high.
People are complaining about the way.
But to be fair, I have seen shows drop from an 8 to a 6, so, you know, it's not hard to fuck it up.
Depends
Going
on
in the
who's
Bronx.
directing it.
So far,
it's not hard to fuck up a show
one
pretty
episode
bit of Going in the Bronx.
like come out yet. So just like, why are you saying it's bad?
Well, I mean, like, again, it's presentation-wise, because I've heard a lot of people saying the presentation so far hasn't really been the best. They bring up something pretty fucked up, and they don't exactly handle it with care, from what I've heard. I have no
Like,
I have no opinion now, but, you know.
If I may mention, there's another.
It's like, oh, since like the first episode is mainly just like,
If I may mention,
who the characters are.
Yeah. What was his face?
I was gonna say, if I can mention, there's also the issue of cultural divide. I mean, the Japanese clearly have a different view on some of these issues than us Westerners.
I mean, their age of
Yeah.
consent is a lot lower than ours, so.
Well, depending on what state you're in.
Yeah, that's right. Well, you did have that conversation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn it, self.
Well, I've studied history and anthropology, and one of the things whenever I take into account watching like an anime or something like that is, how is it different from my perspective and such?
Yeah.
I guess that's why I
gonna
like.
say-
Go
Mhm.
ahead.
I was actually gonna say, compared to stuff, I was actually gonna bring up the fact that Overlord, Future Diary, and Drifters did kind of have the same situation, but it was
Wait.
in a much worse situation.
When did
It was
Drifters do that?
worse.
Like, 'cause I don't
Well,
remember.
you know that part where they were talking about how the elves they're
Oh,
they're
right.
women, and
Oh,
then
right.
they open the door and there's just this massive room, and you find out that all the elves were malnourished and being raped by the soldiers.
Oh, yeah. And didn't that really make Toyohisa really pissed off?
And I think he like killed everyone
Yeah.
except the elves.
Yeah.
I think they cut the end of the episode with him just saying, "I'm gonna murder everyone here." And
Oh,
then
yeah. I remember that. And I was
it-
like,
and then
you
it
do it,
cuts,
buddy.
like,
You
next
kill them
episode,
all.
He walks out, and then like next episode he walks out with all the elf women. And, yeah,
Fucking
and
kill them.
you know he can do it because like first episode he was like cutting people up and like taking their heads off.
Yeah.
But no, there's that bit in Future Diary with the girl with like clairvoyance who was gang raped.
I don't remember that part,
And-
actually.
Oh yeah, she was. It was like that was her whole motivation for why
Hmm.
we're still running this cult.
Oh, yeah. There was a cult. There was a murder cult.
Yeah, there was a murder cult, and then like the one person in the murder cult conspired against her, and they all like gang raped her.
I guess the
And
whole
then
point
there was,
of
like,
it is
late-
there's a lot of anime that has a lot of fucked up stuff in it.
Yeah, and later in the arc, they're about to do the same thing to Juno,
Okay.
and
Move the dumpster.
there's also that bit in Overlord where there's a guy in a burlesque beating the woman he's having paid intercourse with.
Oh, right.
So
Oh,
just
yeah,
say,
and
like,
Sebas walks in and kills him.
yeah. So just putting it in comparison, it's kind of vanilla compared to all this other stuff and like Berserk and stuff.
I think what's pissed a lot of people off is like a lot of those situations happen a lot later in like a developed way. Like that tone had already been set, and
Yeah.
it was shocking, yes, but it wasn't like the sake of like, oh, look how edgy we are. It was kind of like, yeah, this is kind of stuff that happens here. But to do it in episode 1 is a little. It kind of feels like that
It
idea.
starts off. It
I
starts
think-
off on a bad note.
Yeah,
It's just,
it starts off on that kind of look how edgy we are, and it leaves a bad taste in people's mouths.
Yeah, I see it more as they're trying to put severity and dehumanize goblins because a lot of other media makes them like low-level grunts, like anyone can beat a goblin. But in this show, they're trying to prove that
Yeah,
like
this one shows like a really.
these are serious business and like they're not to be trifled with. And considering that she's possibly going to be a main character, maybe it's a burden she's going to have to deal with, get over, and start to. It's basically it's going to be a challenge that she's going to have to progress through in the series.
Yeah.
And not only that, it's supposed to add to like how badass the main character is going to be.
Speaking of, there was a clip of like parts from episode 1 of like the Goblin Slayer like coming in, and it had a one of the themes from the new Doom, and it was awesome. I will say that. Like if that's what the soundtrack is like, I'm sold. But I might skip episode 1 because I'm not usually one for that kind of. At least I'm implied as bad, but like when it shows it on screen, I feel a little uncomfortable.
It doesn't actually.
Oh, does it? Okay.
No, like what happens is the smaller goblins tear off the girl's clothes. The big goblin kind of like digs his nails into her hips, and there's like I think there's a scream, and that's it.
Jesus Christ, that's still
like.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, when it's compared to like Future Diary, when they show a gang rape, and they're implied that it's going to happen again in the same arc, and then like later in the series, it's also implied again to someone else.
Okay, that's fair.
It's like, and like even what you say with Berserk, where it's like. Where it was done right in front of like someone's eyes.
Jackie's house, you know,
All right.
and put the trash one where it'll be the first
that's
one you
fair.
walk up to because we use it more.
All right, but I guess.
I'm
we'll
sorry.
go on what?
Sorry, I was busy with for a moment. I was talking to someone.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, but I think we've covered everything. Let's go into something happier. Let's go into question number 2 and talk about our favorite joke in anime. This is actually a really tough one.
I don't.
Don't say you don't like anything that's funny, or laugh at anything, or have friends. God damn it! You're gonna answer the question, Matt. You're not gonna pull this again. If you don't know, Captain Face, Matt has consistently been. I don't have an answer. He's done that a lot, and you're not doing it again.
I'm not. I have no idea what you're talking about, good stuff.
Well, you're asking the wrong person here as well.
Oh,
I've been
God
trying
damn
to
it.
think over this, and I'm like, there's too many choices I could choose from.
Just talk about some of your favorite jokes, I guess. Then, actually, one of the things going back to Overlord, one of the ones that made me laugh like the hardest was, when you know how like they all have the floor guardians like who are created by each of the members of the guild, and then there's the one that Ainz created.
Him.
Yes, and then and his reveal and like when Ainz like pulled him aside and was like, what the hell? Don't talk like that. What are you doing?
Yeah,
and then he pauses for a second, and he starts speaking in German. I'm not actually exaggerating when I said that I was dying for the next 2 minutes.
Well, I was going to say, if we're going to talk about the In Another World category,
Oh boy.
I'm just going to go ahead and say one
Konosuba?
Series in particular. Yes, I was going
I
to say the
figured,
entire
I figured
series.
that was going to get brought up at some point with this.
Which series?
Konosuba.
Konosuba.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I actually haven't seen that.
Which part of Aqua getting owned is it?
Oh, it's not even Aqua that's
Oh, shit.
made me laugh. It's just the entire series, but I guess you could say the intro is one that stands out.
Oh, when Kazuma's death was completely pointless?
Yes, and then he decides to one-up her, and he says, all right, I want a cheat item. I'll pick you, goddess. And she's like, what?
And then it turns out she was the most useless item he could have picked.
But what's really made me laugh more, or rather, maybe just when I go, what the crap is anything involving darkness?
Extreme masochism.
It's like, what?
I mean,
Oh yeah.
I mean, she did become a paladin just so she could be closer and get wrecked.
The series, by the way, I have no idea.
Well,
what
just if you want to know, there's a character called Darkness, and she's a paladin. But the only reason she became a paladin is because she's a severe masochist and wants to be closer to the monsters who will attack her. And she's extremely horny about it.
she gets so masochistic that when Kazuma, like, demeans her or something like that, she'll get turned on a little bit from it.
I remember seeing one clip of like the monsters are rushing at them, and she like lays down in front, and she's like panting heavily, and like yes, bring it, and everyone's like, what the fuck are you doing?
If I'm honest, that's kind of the reason why darkness a lot in that series, because what a brilliant way to subvert being a paladin.
Yeah.
Not for heroics, but because you're horny.
Another anime that I've seen recently, I ended up really loving it. It's Hina Matsuri. If you don't know, it's about a yakuza who ends up basically the episode starts off with him in his apartment, well, not apartment, but like his house, his suite, because he's rich as fuck and shit. And like this portal appears above him, and like a pod slams on his head, and he looks over. And like it's like this little metal pod, and then like there's just this girl's face on top staring back at him. And his first reaction was, "How many pills did I take?" And it's so good.
You know what that reminds me?
And then he gets up and is like, "Well, I guess it's time to go to bed." And then she's still there in the morning.
Reminds me of, and I'm probably gonna bring it up again later in this series.
Okay.
I mean, in this podcast. It reminds me of Freeman's Mind. Have you heard of that?
No, I have not.
It's basically an abridged series of someone playing through Half-Life.
Oh.
Yeah, only they portray the main hero as being not only a hero, not that heroic, but he's also an alcoholic and he loves taking drugs.
Okay. But what was it? Oh yeah, right. One of the things in Hina Matsuri that really made me laugh is one of the characters. I'm just a little bit of context. A lot of the girls are in middle school, still like 13 and shit. And one of the girls, he told me, while they're looking for someone, she ends up getting in the bar, which is one of like the main spots in the show. And like a drunk guy's like, "Hey, can you make me a drink?" And then the next shot we see is like. It's a full bar, and she's like making drinks really well. And then the bartender owner is like, you should work for me. And she completely bribes her. And so basically, this 13-year-old becomes a fucking amazing bartender. And the best part is when her teacher shows up, and the face she has just like, oh no. There's a lot of really good comedic faces in the anime, like really good.
One.
Basically, just look it up and you'll find it.
I just remembered another series that I really enjoy just for its humorous antics and such.
Yeah.
It's kind of a cult classic anime, even though it just came out 3 years ago, but I still enjoy it. Have you heard of the series Jitsu wa Watashi wa?
I've probably heard of its English title, but...
It's called My Monster Secret, or Actually I Am.
Nope.
No.
Okay, I'm going to paraphrase from TV tropes, but basically think of an anime series based on a sketch similar to Steam.
What?
Let me start over. It's basically about a guy who has and another girl, and he wants to confess to her, but the moment he tries to do it, he learns that she's a vampire.
Oh.
Yeah, and he
wait.
Out.
I think I know what this actually. She's like green hair, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I know it. I haven't seen it, but I know it.
Hmm.
Yeah, and basically the entire series is about him trying to work his way up into confessing to her, and there's always something going on. Like, she's not completely that bright, even though she's made out to be at the start. And there's also another girl that he used to have a love interest in, but he doesn't anymore, and she finds out all about this, and then there's just a bunch of wacky antics that keeps him from confessing.
Oh, rip. One of my favorite jokes is from one of my favorite anime, Amagi Brilliant Park. And a little context, it's basically this like high schooler gets put into like a manager position for a theme park. Only this theme park, the mascots are actually real creatures, magical creatures, because they survive off of like the joy that they bring people. God damn it! Can you let me speak, Matt? Okay. They survive off the joy that bring people, but the amusement park has been doing very, very poorly. So they're like, shit, we need someone to actually help us out. And then like one of the girls, who's like, I don't remember, I think she's like head of security or something like that, but she has like a rifle, and one of the jokes that she always like shoots like these pain-inducing bullets, and she goes up to like the three main mascots and such, and like tells them what they're doing wrong. And then the third time, it's like all you see is like him starting to speak, and she just shoots him in the head immediately. She doesn't even give him a chance, just boom. And then there's a meme of like the whole like GTA 5 like wasted. It was really fucking funny. It also helps with the fact that the mascots are kind of assholes. So it's like adorable mascots, and they're just kind of douchebags. But it's, I don't know. It's a really fun anime. Nick, you got one?
Yeah, I think of two.
Okay.
They're both from Soul Eater.
Okay, that's fair.
Like the last one I'm gonna say is like is in the first episode.
I figured that it was gonna be that. I was like, it's gonna be first episode. I know it.
It's gonna be like where they're trying to hunt down the witch.
Yep.
And so like jumps through the window.
Yep.
And lands in her. Yeah.
Yep.
And lands in the tub while she's bathing. And so like his nose starts bleeding. And she's like, "Oh, are you okay?" He's like, "Yeah, it's okay. Cool guys see boobs all the time." He's like, "Yeah, that's why your nose is bleeding."
Blair is such a funny character in general, so I loved I love her adorable like when she has like the construction outfit and she's like, "Yeah, I'll do my best," and it's just this adorable face, and I'm like, "God damn it, you're so cute."
Yeah. And I would say the funniest part in that series is like almost every time Excalibur is in it.
Yep. You fool!
Yeah, you fool!
I love that concept too. I love that concept. It's this super powerful weapon. Anyone can use him, but no one can tolerate him.
Yeah, it's so funny because he's like in this cave and there's all these fairies and it's all like mystical.
And then the classic fairy face.
Like Black Star, I think was Death the Kid as well.
Yeah, it was those two. Because like Black Star was like, "Oh my god, this powerful weapon, I gotta use it," and Death was like, "I need to know more about Excalibur." And then they both leave, and they have that face.
Yeah,
yep, they met him.
That face. It's that face.
Go see him.
I'm probably gonna post a picture of it if anyone doesn't know, but it's a classic comedic face.
Yeah,
I'm glad that's not actually
because they ask everyone who like somewhat knows Excalibur, and all they do is just pull that face and walk away.
Yep. It's always.
I'm glad that's not actually Saber. Noble Phantasm.
Oh, that would make that series way different. if that was Excalibur from Fate.
Grimdark.
Yeah, it would.
Basically, her final attack would just be sending out Excalibur, and he'd annoy everyone to fucking death.
Actually, that brings up another series I like for just its pure comedy. I've been watching a lot of Carnival Phantasm.
Is that like the spin-off that came out?
Yes, it's the spin-off of Nasuverse stuff, like for both Fate series and for what was it? Tsukihime.
Okay.
And my favorite sketch by so far is when Berserker runs an errand to go get batteries.
Oh my god.
He ends up destroying the entire city.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, and Lancer dies.
No! Wait, which Lancer?
Cool Callahan.
No! I liked him.
Okay.
And also, I should mention, you know who the first servant to die during all that is?
Is it Ryder again?
Gilgamesh.
Oh, what?
Yeah, he's just watching Berserker, and he's like, I think I'll have some fun and tie him down with these chains. And then he gets into a fight with someone else, and before he can act, Berserker accidentally throws his sword high up in the air, and he comes crashing down on Gilgamesh, and he goes like through 4 stories in the building, and he's like, dead.
Rip. There's the main antagonist of the original series. Dead in
Destructive
seconds.
finish.
Flawless victory.
Fatality.
If you just watch the entire sketch, you'll just see how... you'll see why the whole series is interesting.
I love when they take, like, normally, like, serious series and then make a comedic spinoff. Like, there was the Attack on Titan spinoff that I heard that I've seen a bit and thought was pretty funny. And then there's, for Gurren Lagann, there's the high school manga, which I've read a little bit of, and I really enjoyed that one. But, does anyone else have anything to add, or no? Any more?
I think Matt said he had one.
Oh, yeah, right. You haven't said anything yet.
Mine is I can't remember the episode. It's a number, but it's basically that like fly scene from One Punch Man.
Oh, oh, that's episode 2.
We're just like I'm like
Mosquitoes suck.
just keep banging it, just like get over here.
Yeah, he's just continuously slapping it with this immense strength, and it's just flying away.
Yeah, that's fucking funny.
Actually, I think that was episode 2. I'm pretty sure.
It was.
Okay, because I remember episode 1 was like didn't introduce Genos yet, and episode 2 did, and that's okay. Yeah, that was a mosquito lady. It's such a weird.
So with mosquito now fly.
Yeah.
But either way, it was funny.
That face when the whole Peach's crown was made years earlier with the mosquito. Yeah, the meme started with One Punch Man. Actually, the meme started with Japan in general.
That is true.
The Japanization beam. Choo! You're now sexy. Basically. King Arthur. Boom! Now you're cute.
Now you have boobs.
Alright. But speaking of King Arthur and Fate, we're going to go to our third question, which is, what do you think is the best fight in anime? More best. Or at least just ones you really like. I do have a definitive best, but if you guys don't, just ones you really like.
I don't really have a best because I'm kind of split on what a lot of my favorite fight scenes are. I guess you could say a lot of the scenes in Gurren Lagann will be up there for me.
That was actually going to be mine. I was going to choose the Tengatava Gurren Lagann versus the anti-spirals.
Yeah, I was going to say where they're chucking galaxies at each other.
That's such. The animation is so good too.
What? Chucking galaxies at each
Yeah,
other?
basically how it works is, there was one point where the anti-spirals take 2 different galaxies, combine them together in an attack that's supposed to be equivalent to the creation of the universe. It's the Big Bang attack! Only now it's actually a Big Bang.
And it does nothing.
I wonder what it kind of does something. And then Lord Genome just, like, takes it. And one of the weirdest out-of-context scenes. Like, if you just look at, like, the scene where he's a giant drill, and you're like, what the fuck? In the moment, it's cool, but if you look at it later, you're like, okay, that's weird. Because it's this, like, guy whose face is just on top of a giant drill. It's strange, but it's cool.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that thing.
Yeah, but that was mine because it's such a good fucking fight. And then I remember seeing this one meme of like that face you make when they play the opening theme in the final battle, and I was just thinking, oh, Gurren Lagann! You guys just keep talking. I gotta take care of something.
I'm trying to think of another favorite fight scene. I like a lot of the fight scenes in Black Cat. They're not like my favorite or anything. They're just really good, in my opinion. That's all I got.
Alright, I'll let Matt go before me.
Well, if I had to choose one, then I would say that one episode in Ruby about Yang just check a ton of gangsters' butts.
Okay, I will admit, when Monty Ohm was still around for the series, there was a lot of good fight scenes. Then season 3 happened.
What?
No.
I think you're mistaking season 3 and season 4.
I was...
In my opinion, way.
Let me just say the ending of season 3 really kind of made me... bleh.
Mine would be... the fight in Drifters, Joan of Arc versus Toyohisa, where basically, if you don't know, Joan of Arc is not like with one of the bad guys, and she has insane fire magic, and she like throw daggers, and she can like burst into flames. And Toyohisa is just this guy. So
Okay, what have I missed?
So basically, she's basically creating like all this firestorm, like trying to burn down everything to find him because he's busy hiding. And then like he comes out, and she like throws down these daggers to like cut off his exit points to like 1. And so Ominu, one of the other like good guy characters, she can create like stone walls. So she does it behind him. So then Joan of Arc's like, wait, what the hell are you doing? Because he's like, why did you cut off your only exit? And so like he takes off some of his armor, puts the sword in his mouth, and like kind of does the sense. And she starts like throwing fire at him. And so then like Ominu manages to use like her stone walls to launch him, and he basically turns himself into a bullet, flies straight towards Joan of Arc. And
Oh, yeah.
I think just like tackles her into like a well.
Oh, yeah, and that's when he says he can't fight a woman.
Oh yeah, no, good, yeah.
Oh, old-fashioned values.
I say
Thank God
what
you're dead.
again?
But yeah, it's like she just has like this massive fire magic, and it's just creates like these pillars of flames, like sandwiching him. So there's only forward and back he can go. And so he's just like, all right, I'm gonna cut off the back end, and I'm gonna throw myself right at you.
Why?
Because it's Toyohisa, and he's a BAMF.
Badass motherfucker.
Oh, it's just so cool.
There's a lot of really cool moments in the anime.
Yeah. Especially that, like I said, I've said it before multiple times, and I'll still say it again. One of my favorite moments is just the World War II fighter pilot going through and then shooting down dragons.
And now there's a fucking dragon! What the fuck?
Yeah. Or when like they're busy in this fight, and then Billy the Kid and this other Western guy shows up, and they have this old-fashioned Gatling gun on a cart being pulled by a horse, and they just mow down all these orcs.
It's cool. A lot of
it is cool.
Yeah. Anyway, what have I missed? Like, did all you guys have an answer? Where's Captain Face? Is he dead?
Captain. Oh, Captain.
My Captain. God damn it!
My Captain.
Yes.
We both had the same joke.
I was trying to deal with something involving my cat. She was trying to gnaw my headphones. I'm not joking. She likes to get up on my lap whenever I'm listening to something from my headphones and then start chewing on them, and I have to struggle with her stopping it.
Yeah, this is why I don't like cats.
I'm trying to think of any other action scene I like.
Just think of like a shonen anime. Those are classic ones to choose from.
I know. I'm
pretty much any fight from My Hero Academia is a good one to pick.
Yeah, I was about to say.
My personal favorite is still probably it used to be Todoroki versus Deku, but now it's become All Might versus All for One.
I was going to say Stain versus.
Oh, that's a good one too.
Oh yes. One of my personal favorites is the as like the finals exam, where it's the teachers versus the students, and
That's because he just really like
I
getting
have a
punched in the
personal
face.
favorite, but
yeah. I'm not gonna apologize for that. That was fucking awesome.
That's true.
I still can't get over Bakugo being such an asshole.
Well, I mean, like, are you caught up with the anime?
Not yet.
Oh, well, there's
been
a
having to
point,
work
there's a
a
point
lot
where it shows he's gonna start changing.
Good.
Okay,
I need to watch that.
Okay, have you seen the teachers versus the students fight?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's the one I was talking about, where like it was All Might versus Bakugo and Deku.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was saying that's one of my favorites, and I say that quite a few times because Bakugo just gets his shit kicked in, and I love it.
Well, I mean, the latest fight of Bakugo versus Deku also had some of those moments in them too. It was the one where he just punched Bakugo in the fucking face. It was great.
Oh yeah.
One fight that I feel like that's underrated in the series is actually Bakugo versus Uraka.
Oh, that's a really good one too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I liked it because it shows that Uraka clearly is capable, and even though Bakugo still won, he was like, hey, don't talk bad about her. She was showing skill, even though he's still a complete dick.
True.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, it was in a way that he's saying, like, he's honoring her strength by not letting up at all.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh, I remembered one more. The teachers versus student fights. I actually like Todoroki and Momo's fight.
Oh yeah, that's a really good.
Oh,
that's a really good
yeah.
character moment from Momo too.
Yeah, Momo is actually my favorite girl in the series.
Yeah, same. Like I used
Well,
to
it looks
really
like we're
love
gonna be
Uraraka,
having
but she hasn't
war.
done too much lately.
But yeah, I really like that just for the character development.
It's also just a really cool like surprise and shit, and then like, hey Luke, my dog's trying to butt in and say I have a fight too. No, you're not. You don't want. You don't even know what anime is. You think it's food.
It's just
You're
he's just trying to
Luffy.
say
You think
Froppy is
anime's
best
food.
girl.
You think it's delicious. Stop it.
maybe he's trying to say Froppy is best girl.
God damn it. You're wrong. You're wrong. Stop.
I know a
blaming
guy
God.
who really loves Froppy.
I don't know why.
I don't get
She's
it.
alright.
Yeah, I don't get it.
People just
I
really
still
like
say
frog
Momo's
girls, I
the
guess.
best girl.
Like those are the ones I can respect. Like, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I know another guy though who thinks his favorite girl is Mina.
Oh, Mina's pretty good. I know Nick, one of your favorites is Mina as well.
Yeah.
Because he really likes the cheerful girl. Yeah. Also because she's,
One of the things that stands
never
out. No, you go ahead.
It was a bad joke. It was a bad joke that I stopped.
Was it about her original name?
No.
Okay. I was going to say, I really do like how peppy she is, and she really does look like an alien queen.
Alien Queen! Pinky!
Yeah.
Pinky! I love it. I love the fun line she goes, and she just shouts out, Pinky! And then fucking Midnight is like, you work it, girl! And I'm like, yes.
Yes.
Work those looks.
Approval from a dominatrix.
Isn't that the only approval you need?
He's got a point.
Did we need any other ones? All I need is Midnight to tell me yes, and then my life will be complete. Hey, Luke. No. He's getting to that point where he's like gonna be bitching for a while. Yeah, you. Don't you tilt your head and be like, oh, me? Yeah, you, bitch.
So who are you talking to?
My dog. He's
His
a little
dog.
bitch. Alright, we're gonna go to our discussion. Oh, is it? Yeah, it's a discussion now. And I'm gonna talk about why we love anime, because I feel like this is different for a lot of people. Because like some people say they love it, like, well, I mean, like, there's some people who love it just because of the cute girls and shit. And that's why Moe is still around. And then there's people who love it because cool fights and shit, and that's why Shonen is still around. And then there's people like me who love it because it's different.
Different.
Because I remember I started watching it at the perfect time. I started watching it, like, really getting into it in high school, which is that point where you're like, I want to, experience new stuff. college is the perfect point, but I really got into it in college. I started watching it in high school. But like it was great because that's when I saw Gurren Lagann, that's when I saw Soul Eater, that's when I saw Fairy Tail. It was like all these anime that like were at the perfect time for me. And it was just so different from all the other stuff I'd seen. Like it reminded me of Avatar, which I really liked as a kid. And I was like, I want to see more of this stuff. So
I guess you could say I'm really old school then because I grew up in the 90s, and although I didn't have cable television at the time, I did watch a bunch of Pokemon, and occasionally I would see...
I actually was not allowed to watch Pokemon as a kid. I thought it was too violent.
Really?
I'm dead
that
serious.
That stuff is tame.
Yeah, well, yeah, I know, but that my parents thought it was too violent.
When I did get cable television, I discovered Toonami.
Yep. I remember staying up late at night and checking out random episodes of Bleach. I had no idea what was going on, but it was cool.
I remember stuff like Full Metal Alchemist or what else? Cowboy Bebop. That was one of my favorite series of all time.
I actually did not see Cowboy Bebop until way later.
Really?
Yeah, I saw it in college.
Well, it was technically during my freshman year of college when I first started watching Cowboy Bebop.
There's actually a bunch of anime that I saw early on because, like, I remember we had it was a channel for Funimation, their TV channel, and I remember one of the movies that they ended up showing that kind of like was that point where I realized that anime was like a little different than the other stuff I'd grown up with is Project Echo on Civil Wars. It was kind of like a spin-off of the Project Echo stuff, which is already a parody of other stuff. And I remember there was one scene of like one of the characters, Biko, ends up dying, and then Echo comes like this alien creature, and he's like, "Can you bring Biko back to life?" And he's like, "I can, but for a price." And then she's like, "Oh no, he wants my body, doesn't he?" And then he's like, "No, I just want you to help me." But it shows a scene of like it shows a scene of like this girl like naked, and he's like, "Ha ha," and then whipping her and shit, and she's like, "Ah," and then he's like, "No, my people are kind of fucked, and I need you to help me stop the bad guy." And she's like, "Oh, okay." It's kind of this. It was funny, and I think I was like 15 when I saw that. So,
well, if we're gonna talk about series that really cement my love for anime, just for being completely wacky,
Gurren Lagann.
Fully Cooley.
We had run the same vein of stuff. We both chose weird Gynax shows.
Well, I'm actually mixed on some of Gynax projects, especially Evangelion.
Oh yeah, I'm the same there.
But I really loved Fully Cooley just because of how wacky and different it is.
I remember one of my favorite videos from Mother's Basement. It's okay to feel stupid. And it was like, Fully Cooley, you don't need to understand it. You just don't.
Because I only seen like the popular ones, like the big ones.
Oh,
like
you're a filthy casual.
Like, those are the big ones I've seen.
So you like Naruto and Bleach?
I mean, I like Naruto a bit. I think Bleach is okay.
Sorry, that's what I think of when I think of casual anime.
True. Maybe not these days. These days it's different stuff. Like these days it'd probably be Black Clover. Maybe. I don't know. Is Black Clover really that big of a thing? I don't think it is.
I don't know.
Actually, My Hero Academia.
People just considered it like every shonen anime, like the key point of every shonen anime, kind of scraped off and stitched together.
That is what Black Clover is.
It's like all the key features of every shonen. You scrape it off.
Take what was cool
put it
and then
all in
remove
like a
that
pile,
shit.
stitch it together. That's what Black Clover is.
Yep. But
the first time I heard of Black Clover, the person referred to the main character as not Naruto.
I mean, you're not wrong. He's not Naruto. He's
how
Asta.
I remember.
Naruto
That's
2.0.
how I remember him. No,
And his
Naruto
Japanese voice actor is awful. His American voice actor is okay. Still kind of annoying, but not nearly as bad as.
Why would you just screaming? Like, why would you make character like that?
It's basically his fucking voice.
some reason, I feel like Akira lines.
Yeah.
Why would he scream all the darn time?
Because this is shonen anime, and we don't need to make fucking sense.
Why would he have
This annoying jackass
Why?
is gonna be our main character for the next 800 episodes. Yay.
Yeah.
Between a shonen anime and a regular one. Because I never got that.
We're thinking of shonen battle anime, because shonen is like, it basically means like shows that are for like a teenage demographic, a teenage male demographic, which can be a lot of things. But
It begs me to ask what they would consider some series, Darling in the Franxx, to be.
I'm pretty sure, I don't remember the name of it. Is it Seinen? That's like 20 somethings. I can't remember what it was called, but there's like another phrase for that. No, what we call Darling in the Franxx, genre-wise, is a train wreck. It started off pretty promising, and then it collapsed on itself. See, even Luke agrees.
I still like Zero too.
I mean, I liked her up until episode 16. After that, she kind of stopped being interesting.
And if I'm honest, and I know I'm going to people by saying this, it's the better Evangelion.
I mean, half of it I really like, half of it I don't like. Evangelion was just kind of discomfort the entire way through, so I guess that's a fair estimate. I like the movies of Evangelion, though. I feel like the movies dive more into the cooler aspects of what Evangelion was supposed to be. And were also less confusing. And depressing.
Well, what can I say? When I learned this like a few months ago, and I was like, oh, so that's why I don't like Evangelion. And it's that apparently Anno, when he was creating the series, he didn't have a script out for up until the last episode. He made it episode by episode, and I'm like, who does that?
That's how I wrote my first book. No, I didn't want to plan my first book, but whatever. But yeah, but that's not why we love anime. We love anime because it's weird and it's got cute girls in it.
Well, I
They're
actually,
all fucking lonely.
I'd say I like it for a different reason.
Okay.
Because I don't just love anime. I love animation in general.
Yeah.
It always fascinated and intrigued me.
Yeah.
And I would say I kind of gravitated towards it a bit more because I grew up on a lot of anime-esque shows like Megas XLR, Teen Titan.
Yeah.
I'll say Shaolin Showdown as well. Like Super Robot Monkey Force.
Oh, I
just like
forgot
shows
that
like
show
that.
existed.
Yeah, like shows like that where they kind of take art styles from anime and they kind of infuse it into cartoons. And like as I grew up, I was like, I can't really be watching cartoons still unless like one's like really good. And there's not really a lot of adult animations unless you're looking for comedy, because like there's comedy and there's
Oh yeah, there's a
maybe
lot of adult
something.
animation out there for comedy, but not so much for other stuff.
Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, comedy's
Because like
fine. but I
BoJack
want almost,
Horseman's
like,
a
an
really
action
popular
or-
one, and such as there's also like The Simpsons and Family Guy.
Yeah, but like there's almost
Almost nothing
nothing
for-
for anything other than comedy. And I'm like, yeah, I like
I'm trying to
comedy.
think of anything,
but I
actually,
want
outside of
something
anime.
else for adult animation, and that's kind of where
I mean, I
anime
guess
kinda fits in, 'cause
Castlevania,
it's like
but
a-
that's kind of anime-ish.
yeah, but anime kind of is more matured, and it can delve into something other than one genre. So
That's fair.
If I'm honest, I can agree with that in a sense. A lot of Western animation, I feel like, hasn't been tapping into potential that it could be tapping into. Like, you mentioned
Yeah.
Family Guy. I think of that series. I think of like just bottom of the barrel humor and such.
The first few seasons of Family Guy were pretty good, but now it's just, how can we shock the audience? I mean, the Star Wars specials are always good, but you know. Oh well.
Well, I always grew up more of a Simpsons person because I was exposed to the good seasons of it.
But then there's then you have to go with the reason of, oh, now technically only half of Simpsons is good.
When I got
I
into
don't
anime,
even think
though,
it was half.
Is it less than half?
Yeah, I was like, I don't know if like the first like 1 or 2 seasons count, but it's like it's stuff up to like season either 7 or 8. Then like season 9 was the beginning of a decline.
Yeah. I've heard
So
Disenchantment wasn't too hot
like
either.
9 to 28, I think. Or like 9 to 22.
There's 28 seasons, really?
It's been going on since 88,
I mean, true,
89.
but fuck. I didn't know it was 28. That's holy shit.
Yeah, and
It's got more episodes than One Piece. Actually, probably not. Nothing can have more episodes than fucking One Piece.
Well, going back to what I was going to say,
Except for
I feel
Pokemon.
like anime actually touches more on certain themes and such that Western animation hasn't really gotten into. Like, call me a sellout if you want, but one of my favorite anime movies of recent time was Your Name, mainly because it dealt with some pretty heavy stuff.
I mean, like, I'd say there's some stuff that like American animation does outside of 2D animation. Cause if you guys know Studio Leica, like they do the stop motion stuff, and pretty much everything they do is always like, and there was Kubo and the Two Strings, which was it had a lot of really good lessons, and it was kind of along that same vein of like the whole like learning about yourself in ways you didn't expect. And plus, it had that
stop motion.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
And plus, you know how they always say, like, in Disney, it's like, well, love conquers all, and then they kill the villain? This one actually commits to the whole love conquers all and fucking uses it. And I really like that. So,
If we're talking stop motion,
but like,
this is gonna, like,
anime does it all the time and shit, so that's why I love that. Like, it taps on that potential, like you said.
There's not just that also, but I find some of my favorite characters in all of fiction that come from anime. Like,
I mean, I have a lot of anime figures of my favorite characters. I have a Yoko and a Kamina figure. So,
well, one of my favorite anime characters, and I guess you could call her a waifu if you want to, even though I don't like using the term, is from, and I know some people are going to groan at this, the series Rosario Vampire, and I'm talking specifically the manga. I know the anime was a train wreck.
Yeah, it actually was a train wreck. I just seen that.
Well, my favorite character from the series is a snow woman called Mizuri Shirayuki.
Oh, her.
And, yeah, the stalker, you could say. But when I looked deep into her, I realized this isn't just as simple as she's like stalking people. She actually has a bit of insecurity. She is basically the person who wants to be a loner, but at the same time, she wants to be friendly with others, but she can't decide.
She's an ice queen, so she can't be nice. I don't know. She's
a
nice
it may sound
queen.
Cliche on paper, but if you look into it,
I just made a shitty joke.
Like, and I'm like, why don't?
Sorry.
Well, I'm like, why don't most Western animation tap into complex characters? Why is it always just one-dimensional at times?
I don't know, because we're stupid. That's a pretty good idea. I mean, just look at politics.
Well, don't get me started there.
I don't want to get started there either, because I'll be here all fucking day. But I'm not going to get started there, so yeah, I just love anime, because it helps me cope with the fact that life is meaningless.
I'm a big fan of animation in general, and I can't find anything other than fucking comedy.
Yeah, unless you like want to look at like some kids shows and shit, which happen to be probably more popular with adults than kids nowadays. Well, like Avatar and shit. Like there's way more adult fans of Avatar than kid fans.
Yeah, but like if you do that, it's either kind of creepy or like you're watching something like mediocre.
Oh, there's also Adult Swim
until
stuff.
like yeah. But then that goes back to the comedy thing.
Not all of it's comedy. Some of it's kind of like just weird.
Well, some people would argue the Greeks thought of comedy as just a form of tragedy.
I mean, that's kind of what it like. There was Dante's Divine Comedy, which was tragic as fuck. So.
Well, I mean, European, UK humor is all about tragedy. I mean, look at the ending of, I think it's called Blackadder. It's basically like Rowan Atkinson is playing a soldier in World War II.
Oof. How is that a comedy?
I just think of
because
Stephen.
It's Rowan Atkinson.
I mean, that's true, but it's World War II.
I just think of Stephen Fry
Yeah, I
on
mean-
that series, and he goes, "It's all about shouting."
Yeah.
I don't know. It's something to do with the regional dialect, but a lot of like UK humor is very dry, and it makes fun of a lot of serious stuff,
Yeah.
and it, like it often taps into dark things quite a bit of times.
Maybe
Like,
that's why I like Maybe that's why I like Monty Python so much.
Monty
Yeah.
Python's just classic in general.
Yeah, but it's also like
It's
it also like taps into a lot of stuff.
yeah.
It's
What
I
is your
mean,
favorite
Life of
color?
Brian-
Blue. No, green. No. Sorry.
No, but yeah, like Life of Brian was completely sacrilegious, but it was funny.
You're talking to someone
Always
who's
look on the bright side of life. Oh yeah,
Of
that's yeah, that's
that
life.
movie is hilarious and Christian.
It is.
So
So
Well, it kind of like it wasn't really like Christian in general, just making fun of religions and like
I
followers in
understand.
general as a whole.
it's possible to be religious and have a sense of humor.
Oh, I was going to say, I think if you're a Christian, then you should, or rather, if you're religious, you should appreciate this movie then, because it acknowledges the faults of your religion. He's not the Messiah. He's a very naughty boy.
But all right. I think that's everything, right? We're good. We good?
Yeah.
You good? You good? I'm good. We
I,
good?
I just want to bring up the fact I looked up how many seasons of The Simpsons there are. They're busy on season 30.
God damn it. How many episodes are there? How many episodes are per season?
Uh,
Because if it's over 800, then it might actually be more than One Piece.
More than
Alright.
Pokemon, they have 1,000 episodes for that.
Oh yeah, right. Pokemon is technically the most, but One Piece
it's
is
usually, from what I'm seeing, it's usually like 21, 22 episodes.
I don't want to do math. So it's about 600.
I'm supposed to be looking through them.
Or no, that's 600. All right. So it's less, but that's still a lot. But anyway, I want to go on to our anime battle because this is cool. It's cool. It's Gundam Epyon from Gundam Wing versus Enki from Gurren Lagann. And this is one I just kind of thought of off the fly because it's like there's two popular mechas. We'll take the rival character from both of them, who are not exactly a bad guy, not exactly a good guy, and make them fight. And I'm kind of torn on this one because on the one hand, I feel like Enki is way stronger because there's a point where like he tosses up like in the child arc. There's a point where like the Daiguren ship, the giant one that they use as like their base for everything that they have, all the gunmen, everything, tries to step on Adine and like Enki just pops in, like stops it and like chucks it back. And then there's the points where like it can keep up with Gurren Lagann, which can fly from the ground out into space, escaping Earth's atmosphere, and then like other stuff. But Epyon has that thing where it has a system that predicts every event of a battle. So it's kind of a tricky thing. It's this mecha that's clearly a lot stronger versus one that has like this. It's technically brain versus bronze. So it's kind of tough.
Yeah, that's kind of my logic on it as well. I mean, if you're gonna go by the death battle standards, in which
I'm just gonna say like a regular battle. Like you can take it however you want to, but like.
Well, I'm just using it as a point of reference
Okay.
because they said Epyon would win against a Power Rangers mega. I don't remember who it was because I'm not.
I forgot.
Yeah, I think it was the first Megazord.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't grow up with Power
No,
Rangers.
that
so-
was Voltron.
But
That was, they
one
used
of the things that it
the
had was
Tiger
also
Megazord.
its speed advantage, and Enki also kind of matches it in speed a lot. So it's a different thing. Like Enki kind of isn't as strong as the Power Zord, but like it's also like way faster. And it can
I
fly.
want to say, go ahead.
just like Epyon. So it's kind of like it. They match each other. Like I'm also curious to know if the like the weapon that Enki uses after it's like the boomerang thing that it uses. Like that's like the head crest. I wonder if it could block the laser sword that Epyon has.
I want to say this may be a tie.
I mean, like I'm really stuck up on the Epyon system because that changes a lot. But then I remember that Viral has hundreds of years of experience, and I'm curious if he would think of like a way around it. I don't know.
That's why I say it's a tie, because Viral, let's just cut to the chase. He's immortal. He's got the experience.
Oh yeah, right. He
Epyon
can't die. So, but it's I would say it's whichever mecha wins, because like if they both get blown up, obviously Viral will survive because he has an undying body, and I can't remember his name. The pilot of Gundam Epyon. He's the one with the helmet, who's like a
I know who you're talking about. I always forget his name too.
But he had like a secret origin or something. I forgot his name. We're talking about the battle. But like. Yeah, but like, and like he would probably die if like both mechas exploded, but Viral would be fine. But like, if both mechas exploded, I consider it a tie since, well, their ways of fighting are destroyed.
Which one to say? But I guess I'll say the one from Going Logon or whatever.
You don't even know what the other one is, do you?
I don't.
God damn it. Nick, what do you think? Which face wins?
I actually have no idea about this one.
You're so useless.
I know.
It's like on the one hand,
it really is a tough one.
On the one hand, I feel like they both kind of are very similar in Enki's a lot stronger. It's done way more impressive strength feats. And it's also really durable. But again, Gundam Epyon has the Epyon system, and I don't know if it could block the laser sword. I could probably dodge it, but
Yeah.
And it's also the fact that the Epyon system kind of drives its pilot insane.
It can if overused.
Yeah.
Okay, because what I was thinking is if there was kind of something prohibit, like giving it somewhat of a pseudo timer, I feel like that would be the key point at which the other side would win. So I think hearing that, I would have to say Enki.
Because like
just if what Captain said was true, we're using Epyon too much.
Well, I mean, like you know what it does, right? It shows every possible outcome of a battle, which also shows every point that the pilot dies, over and over and over again. It like shows it in their head and makes them experience it. So like seeing yourself die over and over and over, as well as using it, you also see the faces of the people you kill.
It's kind of like a hallucination that almost feels too real.
Yeah, it's like you experience yourself dying over and over again.
Because it's like own week scene going Logon.
But like he's also used the Epyon system a lot, and it's only been a problem like every now and then.
Well, if it does affect him, then I feel like that would be a weak point at which Enki would then which Enki could then use as an advantage. Because if seeing him die over and over again starts affecting his mental state, then he's gonna start slipping up in battle, and maybe he slips up and he gets hit by the laser, and then that's enough for Enki to then get the upper hand and win the fight.
There's also the problem that like Epyon has like more. Enki doesn't really have much long range options. Like he can throw hit like for I don't know, like multiply his head crest like in that one episode 7 it was when Gurren Lagann is like flying down and then basically flame stomps Enki into the ground like through a metal bridge, and Enki's fine. Viral's unconscious, but Luke, stop.
Because like the only way Brains versus Brawn could win is if the brain discovers a weakness and then uses that against them. But
by that logic, you would say Epyon would win then, because Epyon tries to think of every scenario, or at least the AI system.
Yeah, but there's
it's up to him to act.
There's no like definitive weakness that I can see that I can
The only weakness
being
is if it
used against him.
overpowers it. Like, I mean, the joints maybe, but even then, it's not like those would be
Yeah, that's a
easy to
very
hit.
that's very slim.
It's a pretty standard weakness for any mecha. Enki
Yeah,
could
it's
do
very
the same thing.
slim possibility. But because it essentially it's them fighting each other, and I would say the longer it goes on, the more Epyon wears on the person's mental state to the point where when they start going insane, they're gonna end up getting sloppy, and then Enki's gonna find the opening and then win the fight.
I think actually I think I'm gonna go the same way because I feel like with Viral's like massive amounts of experience and such, he could probably like find a way to exploit. If he notices like something happening, he can find a way to exploit it. And he's no idiot either. I mean, he's a commander, so it's obviously he had a lot of piloting experience beforehand. And he continuously fights Gurren Lagann, which, you know, is Mecha Jesus.
I think this is similar to a Dragon Ball case where like you take a weak character, but because they're going up against impossibly strong odds, if you think about it, they're also very formidable opponents themselves.
Yeah.
Like they're only weak in their own universe.
Well, I mean, even in his own universe, Enki is still really fucking tough because it continues to fight. I remember actually it survives up until the adult arc, because Viral had been using it going rogue for years and years and unable to repair it basically, until it eventually got worn down over like battle after battle after battle, and he got captured. But then he became Gurren's pilot. But yeah, because I mean it does run off electricity, and when you can't exactly repair your mecha, you know, then it gets fucked over. But yeah, I guess in the end I'm gonna have to go with Enki. Not because I'm biased towards Gurren Lagann, but because I feel like in this case, Epyon isn't like completely equipped to deal with it. Because like it's similar. They're similar.
I guess
ways.
that would be my logic too. That eventually the power would just overwhelm it.
Because Enki is stronger than other Gundams.
Oh, too much power! Too much!
I would say Epyon would just wear on the pilot's mental state to the point where they wouldn't be able to fight at his peak, or would then like his fighting ability would be dropped so dramatically that the opponent would win. Because the only way I can see is if they just burn through the electricity, but yeah, I think the mental state would wear first.
All right. So, what do you say, Captain Face?
I'm gonna have to side with Enki as well because of a few reasons. Although I think the Epyon's predictive system would be a strong advantage, there's the problem that sometimes you can beat smart planning if you just have overwhelming power. Because I've studied history so much, I'm going to draw an example, obviously, but look at what Stalin did to Hitler in World War II at Stalingrad.
Yeah.
He just simply kept sending so many men that no amount of smart planning the Germans could have done would have beaten him. And eventually just wore him down.
Mother Russia.
Mm-hmm. And also going on the fact that Epyon's predictive system would basically screw with the pilot's mind after a while, whereas Viral, he's had a lot of experience. He could probably detect when something's not right with the pilot.
Although I will say that Viral didn't. I guess it's not really that big of a thing, but if Viral didn't notice that Kamina wasn't the pilot for Gurren for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I guess he was just blinded by his own rage.
Yeah.
But...
So I'm going to go with Enki.
All right. Okay. Yes.
I guess I'll go with like what he said.
Thanks for the contribution, Matt. We always appreciate it.
I don't know that much about these guys. So what am I supposed to do?
Do research. That's why I give you the questions days in advance.
does is I like to go in blind.
All right, well, whatever. Fine. Fine. I guess I don't know what to
Someone's
say.
out.
I'm not surprised, so I guess I can't be upset. But anyway, thank you, Captain Face, for showing up. If you want to show up again, please just, I don't know, ask.
I'll see what I can do. Maybe I'll see join when Gaming Centaur comes back.
Yeah, and then I'll probably join for another one of you guys' streams because I like to. Because I like playing games with people. But anyway, thank you again to Nick and Matt for being here.
Yeah, because that's
And
all
thank you,
I'm
Nick, for
good
contributing, and for Matt for being here.
Yeah, because you're another person.
Rip Matt. Not gonna be too
Yeah.
mean to you, buddy. Anyway,
This is back to the underworld with me.
yeah. Anyway, just as always, if you guys have any questions, suggestions, and discussion suggestions, or anime battle suggestions, please leave the comments below, or even message me on Twitter. There's a link to my Twitter on my YouTube page. It's on the top right, as well as with a bunch of other links that I just have there. The social media for all these guys is down in the comments. Not the comments, the description below. And as always, have a good day, I guess, and watch anime, because
What else are you gonna
fuck
do?
having sex.
Um,
Who needs
Screw
sex when you
work.
have waifus?
Exactly.
Screw work. Look, I got waifus.
Yay! Hello, darkness, my old friend. Bye.